insurance firm Evertas out here raising $14 million. These are headlines that you would see pretty regularly in the good old days. But now here in the depths of crypto winter, a raise of this size, I guess, is notable. But I think it's really the topic that's probably more notable, right? These firms who have exposure to imploding, hacked, exploited projects often are with few options as it relates to crypto insurance. So Ian Allison, among uncovering a bunch of scoops in the space, he's also been kind of chronicling the evolution of crypto insurance over the years. And this is the latest from him with this raise from Evertas. I'm going to throw it straight to Wendy for her thoughts on the crypto insurance sector. What are your thoughts here?
I actually like that we're going to have some sort of crypto insurance coming. One of the issues that we have in the space is the lack of regulation, the lack of clarity. And I feel like self-governance is going to be a big theme that we can see. If the crypto industry can go to lawmakers or regulators and say, hey, this is what we've been able to build, let's just go ahead and allow this, that might actually be able to push more positive regulation in instead of letting a government entity decide what we do. And the reason why letting a government entity decide what we do is because they've already showcased us problematic behavior with the lack of regulations. And as we talked about in the story before, they don't really have guidelines of who can represent who if you work for a government entity and then merging over into crypto. So I think this is a good thing. I like it. I know it kind of goes against the whole true decentralized economy ethos, but at the same time, I think it is a necessary thing that we need in the industry, especially for people that are brand new.
I completely agree with you, Wendy, and I think that it's the perfect time to be speaking to investors about this story and this thesis, and the perfect time to be speaking to consumers about this. You know, we had FTX implode. We have everyone talking about, you know, what if this happens again? What about hacks? What about theft? And insurance is the solution. I know that there's a quote in the article from the CEO, and he said that for years they've been talking about trust accounts, degradation of assets, and delineation of ownership in the event of bankruptcy. He says that, you know, they've been underwriting that for 3 or 4 years. And so this makes total sense, I think, for centralized exchanges. We often talk about Visa and centralized banks and how they offer these assurances to consumers. And if you're new to the space, maybe you sometimes get that confused and don't understand why you might be losing your money when there is something that goes wrong. And so I think this is great. And it speaks again to that optionality. If you think this is totally whack and you hate centralization, there are solutions out there for you. There are decentralized ways for you to go out there and take on that risk yourself. And so I think it is good. Will?
Yeah, the product market fit timing is really nice. And we saw that with the Ledger news as well, right? Where everyone wanted to go into self-custody during a period when FTX was blowing up and people did not have self-custody of their assets and therefore lost them. In the same way, we've seen a lot of exchanges go insolvent or products go insolvent, teams just be blown up, treasuries be insecure, and now you have an insurance product that's coming onto the scene. I think this is going to bring a lot of adoption for this insurance company specifically, and then just like lay some light onto the insurance angle in crypto, because there's a lot more teams that are actually building insurance in crypto than just this one team here. There's a lot of different protocols for that. There's a lot of people building these sort of insurance products in order to help the space in general. And so I'm glad to see that this being trotted out. It's unfortunate we really only focus on these things during like the down markets, but that's how it is. I think there's a bull market for exchanges and assets, but there's also a bull market for insurance and hardware wallets and things like that. And they're typically off cycle from each other because people don't need them until you need it. Wendy, I'll throw it up to you, but also saw Zach's hand go up.
Really quickly, I just want to, if this does get pushed through, they actually are able to provide some sort of insurance to people. I think one of the biggest complaints we're going to see is the turnaround time. I don't know if any of you guys have ever been in a car accident, but when you're in a car accident or you do actually have to file an insurance claim, you don't get your money like that. There's a lot of investigation that has to happen. A lot of different things have to happen. So people are going to use this and think it's going to be an easy, all-encompassing thing. That's not going to be the reality. But I still am very excited to see more of these pop up, and hopefully they're legit and people are able to feel a little bit safer investing in crypto. Zach, go ahead.
Yeah, a couple more options on the DeFi side. Nexus Mutual probably is the one that comes to mind in terms of how to hedge risks in a DeFi-friendly way. The thing I wanted to pipe in about was an interesting name on the cap table of this one. Sino Global, which CoinDesk reported lost a bunch of money in FTX collapse, both through direct exposure and sort of indirect ties, was involved in this round for this insurance provider. So for this to be kind of one of their first investments in the wake that is, I think, salient and perhaps a bit interesting. But yeah, that's all I wanted to add on that one. I don't know. Jen, last thoughts before we shift gears?
Good note.
Thank you. Thank you, Will.
I knew you were going to toss it to me for last thoughts on insurance. I mean, I think this is just the road to boring, right? More protections, more regulation for the people who want to invest in crypto in a safe way. And I love it.